The warm glow of the evening bathed our home in soft amber light as Brenda stood before me, her expression a mixture of defiance and uncertainty. Her voice had been raised moments ago, but mine remained calm, a quiet contrast to the storm brewing between us. "Did you hear what I said?" she demanded, her frustration palpable. "Yes, dear. You have a date with another man this Friday." I responded, my tone measured. Her eyes widened, the disbelief on her face unmistakable. "And you don't mind?" "Of course I mind," I admitted, my gaze steady. "But what choice do I have? As you've pointed out many times, I don't control you. You're your own person, free to make your own choices." Brenda's lips parted, as if to speak, but no words came. I could see the flicker of unease behind her eyes, the weight of an unspoken truth settling between us. "I'll be back," she said finally, her voice softer now. "Don't let your fragile male ego get in the way. I love you, and I'll make amends. You'll see." "So you do know it's wrong," I observed, my voice steady. She frowned. "What do you mean? I never said that." "You just did." I countered. "If there was nothing wrong with it, why would you need to make amends?" Brenda looked away, unable to meet my gaze. Silence stretched between us, heavy and undeniable. "You know and I know that our families wouldn't understand this," I continued, watching her reaction carefully. "You know you're doing something wrong. Otherwise, you wouldn't feel guilty." She remained silent, her fingers twisting the hem of her blouse. "You wouldn't need to make amends if it were just lunch with friends," I pointed out. "Or if you were simply getting a haircut. The only reason you said it was because deep down you know this is wrong. And knowing that makes you a bad person." A hint of uncertainty crept into her voice. But you said I could do it." "No," I corrected. "I never said that. I said I couldn't stop you. That's different. I do not approve of this in any way. I would rather spend the evening with you, go to the same restaurant, the same dance club, but we both know this isn't about dinner or dancing. It's about the company you prefer. And that company isn't me." Brenda's head dipped, her silence speaking volumes. "By the way, what's his name?" I asked. "It doesn't matter," she murmured. I let out a breath, shaking my head. "Let's assume I won't argue about that. Whether his name is John, Mark, or doesn't matter, just know this. Your date with him on Friday will have consequences." A flicker of defiance returned to her eyes. "What consequences?" "You're not just beautiful," I said. "You're intelligent, and I know you'll figure that out on your own." She scoffed. "You're bluffing. You love me. You always give me what I want." I let her words hang between us, then calmly picked up my keys and walked out. The apartment had been cool all week, but by Thursday an unmistakable chill settled between us. That evening, I packed my belongings and moved into the guest room. Brenda stood in the doorway, watching me with wide eyes. "What are you doing?" Pausing with a stack of clothes, I looked at her with the same patience one might have for a naive child. "What does it look like?" "Are you moving out?" she asked, her voice small. "My wife wants to date other men," I replied matter-of-factly. "Do you think I'm going to sleep in the same room with a cheating wife?" A smirk played on her lips. "You're such a silly boy. Throwing a tantrum like this. You really think acting out is going to change anything?" Without another word, I placed my clothes in the spare closet and went back for another load. "So now you're trying to punish me," she sneered. I didn't answer. "You see how pathetic you are," she goaded. I met her gaze, unwavering. Consequences. She wouldn't be able to say she hadn't been warned. Friday morning arrived, and I left early. I visited a high-end salon, where I got a professional, sharp haircut. The stylist meticulously shaped the edges with a razor, leaving me looking polished and refined. After that, I stopped by a men's boutique, selecting an effortlessly elegant outfit. Trousers, a well-fitted shirt, and a tailored blazer. I considered getting new shoes, but decided against it. New footwear and a night of dancing didn't seem like the best combination. On my way home, I had my SUV detailed, ensuring it gleamed inside and out. When I stepped through the front door, I took a slow breath, feeling refreshed. I didn't need to see Brenda's reaction to know she noticed. Half an hour later, she appeared at the top of the staircase in a new dress I had never seen before, cut just above the knee, dipping low enough to reveal a generous amount of cleavage. She paused at the last step, expecting a compliment. I gave her nothing. Her brows knit together in confusion before her gaze flickered over me. Her eyes widened slightly, a glimmer of surprise breaking through a composed demeanor. "Damn," she muttered. "You look amazing." "Where are you going?" she asked, her tone sharper now. "Out," I replied, shrugging into my blazer. "What did you expect? That I'd stay home, waiting for you like some obedient little pet?" Brenda's expression shifted, irritation flashing in her eyes. "Well," she huffed, flipping her hair over her shoulder, "I don't want to be late. Charmaine hates waiting." I smiled. "Charmaine." I mused. Interesting choice. Brenda turned, hesitated, then stormed out the door. I walked to my SUV, settling into the driver's seat as a distant, frustrated scream echoed from the street. I chuckled. Got her. That evening, Charmaine and I met at a charming wine bar, where soft candlelight cast a golden glow across the tables. The ambience was intimate. Velvety jazz notes hummed in the background, blending with a soft murmur of conversation. A pianist played live music near the small dance floor, setting a romantic tone for the night. Conversation with Charmaine flowed effortlessly. She laughed at my jokes, not out of politeness, but because she genuinely found me amusing. And I won't lie, that warmth, that appreciation, it did something to me. When we danced, it was like moving as one. Our touches were electric, brushing against each other in subtle, tantalizing ways. The heat of her presence, the way our bodies aligned, it was intoxicating. It didn't take much to recognize what was happening. Brenda had made her choice. And now, so had I. The evening had been slow and unhurried, a delicate balance of restraint and intrigue. Charmaine and I sipped wine under the dim glow of the bar's pendant lights, letting our words flow effortlessly while our eyes engaged in a silent, playful dance. There was no rush, no need to cross boundaries, only the quiet thrill of mutual attraction simmering beneath the surface. Though my heart was still bound by marriage, the lines had been redrawn, not by my hand, but by the very woman who had vowed to cherish me. Brenda had chosen her path, and I had merely followed the trail she left behind. As I walked Charmaine to her apartment, she leaned in with a knowing smile and pressed a kiss to my cheek, the soft imprint of her freshly painted lips lingering like a whisper against my skin. Then, with deliberate mischief, she dabbed a trace of her perfume onto my collar, the scent both alluring and unmistakable. "Go and get her, Tiger," she teased, her voice rich with amusement. We shared a chuckle, and with that, I slipped into my SUV and drove home. The moment I stepped inside, the temperature of the room plummeted. "Where the hell have you been?" Brenda's voice was sharp, her arms folded tightly across her chest. I met her glare with an unbothered expression. "Not your business." "You never even said where you were going." "Neither did you," I replied coolly. "Not that it matters anymore. If I cared, I might ask whether your anonymous mister was considerate enough to use protection. But frankly, it makes no difference to me now. You'll rot from the inside out before I ever touch your wretched, cheating body again." A flicker of panic crossed her face. "You had a fantastic time. Who?" I smirked, unbuttoning my blazer with unhurried ease. "Oh, absolutely. And I owe it all to you." Her brows furrowed. "What do you mean?" "If it weren't for your brilliant idea to break up our marriage, I never would have had the chance to get to know Charmaine better. What a woman. Hot, smart, confident. A real breath of fresh air. So thank you, my dear. Truly." The scream that tore from her lips was loud enough to make me wonder if the neighbors might call the police. "You know I hate this game." I chuckled, shaking my head. "How do you think I feel? Why do you think she was the first person I called?" Brenda's face drained of color. What did you just say?" Again, I found myself questioning how I had ever thought she was intelligent. "Take a second. It's not rocket science." I sighed. "You wanted to push me away. Dress up for some anonymous jerk, wear clothes you've never worn for me, and expect me to sit here like a fool while you redefine the rules of our marriage. Well, I simply followed your example." She stared at me, the realization hitting her like a freight train. The only difference, I added, is that I was honest about who I went with. For some strange reason, you're too embarrassed to name yours. So, tell me, Miss Very Smart, what's your problem? Her bravado crumbled, and for the first time that evening, I saw genuine vulnerability in her eyes. 2 silent tears rolled down her cheeks. Let me guess, I continued, my voice laced with amusement. Kevin Self didn't get what he wanted tonight, did he? Another scream, this one filled with rage and disbelief, tore through the air. Her hands flew to her mouth as if trying to trap the truth inside. How did you find out? I grinned. And once again, you've proven how inadequate your mind truly is. Just think for a second. You work in an office filled with women. Kevin is notorious. Everyone knows who he sleeps with, and they talk about it. You used to gossip about others. So did you really think you'd be the exception? Her wide eyes told me she had never considered this possibility. For weeks now, your so-called friends have been whispering to me about how you not only fell for Kevin's charm, but started actively seeking him out. One of your colleagues even suggested that maybe he dumped someone else for you. And tonight, according to the office gossip, he was planning to make you his. He even booked a room at the Merit. Apparently, that's his routine. First night in a fancy hotel. Then after that, Motel 6, or the woman's place. Didn't you know? The look on her face was priceless. Humiliation, shock, and regret blending into one. Tears poured freely now. Oh, Rick, I'm sorry. You're right. I'm such a fool. How could you ever put up with being married to someone like me? I exhaled, but there was no more patience left in me. Good news. Brenda, I don't have to anymore. You'll be served divorce papers tomorrow morning after breakfast. Her breath hitched. What? We rented this house. Remember? There are 3 months left on the lease. You can either extend it or use that time to find a new place. Makes no difference to me. Her voice was barely above a whisper. Where will you go? Charmaine offered me her spare bedroom until I figure things out, I said easily. She already outlined some good conditions for the split. Can't wait to look into them further. Everything else we own together will divide evenly. And now you can do whatever you want, with whoever you want. No more weak-ass husband holding you back. I hope Kevin was worth it. Her lips parted as if to respond, but no words came. I grabbed my keys, stepping past her without another glance. In the weeks that followed, Brenda packed her things and moved into an apartment. But when she realized I was truly happy without her, that my time with Charmaine had ignited something real, she left the state altogether. I never saw her again. Charmaine and I enjoyed our time together, but we both understood that passion and compatibility weren't always the same thing. Eventually, we parted ways on good terms, and I moved into a townhouse closer to Wake. Time shaped me. I grew older, wiser, and stronger. The gym became more than just a habit. It was a place where I rebuilt myself. And in the midst of it all, I met someone remarkable. A woman who didn't just have beauty, but true intelligence. A woman who didn't just offer excitement, but loyalty. One thing led to another, as it often does, and for the first time in a long time, I found happiness. Real happiness. As our journey through this tale comes to an end, remember, life is a way of working itself out. Even in heartbreak, there's always another chapter waiting to be written. Thank you for being part of this story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time.